where should people start with positioning? Because maybe that's a super obvious question based on what you just said. It's like the first thing, but like I don't know if you're thinking about maybe building a SaaS product, how important is positioning like before you build the thing?
Yeah.
Or like how could you? What advice would you give to like SaaS startups thinking about positioning?
Yeah. So in the early days, like let's say you have something that hasn't even launched yet, because I get this question a lot, right? And people will say, "Well, I haven't even got the thing out in the market yet, so I don't really know who I compete with." And here's how I like to think about that. So in the early days of a SaaS product, you're still building it. What you have is a positioning thesis. It's a thesis, right? So in my positioning thesis says, "Here's who I think I compete with. Here's here's my differentiated capabilities. Therefore, this is the value I can deliver to customers. These are the kind of customers that are really going to dig that. And therefore, this is the market I'm going to win." And it's helpful to actually write all that down and say, and think about what are the assumptions baked into that. And so while you're doing customer discovery and all that good stuff that you do before you actually launch a product, you're trying to validate this as much as you can. That said, we're always wrong. And this is why, having done this for 25 years, we never get it right. Like we get as close as we can, but we never get it right. Sometimes we're, 90% there. Sometimes we're totally wrong on everything, but we never get it right. And so here's the thing. I have this positioning thesis, but I don't actually want to have the positioning so tight because I know it's probably wrong and I'm going to have to change it. So I actually recommend that companies keep the positioning kind of loose at the beginning and wait to see where the market pulls them. So this is my really bad analogy, but I'll use it because I don't have a better one. So it's like you woke up in the morning and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna make a fishing net, and my net has been designed. It's amazing for tuna." So that's my positioning thesis: is tuna fishing net. Tuna fishermen are gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna charge lots of money for it because the world's never seen such a tuna fishing net. But when I launch it, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, man. And maybe it's really good for tuna, maybe not. So instead, I think a better way to launch a product like that is to say, "Hey, I got this thing. It's a net for like fish. Oh, big fish, big ones, any kind of big fish." And then let's just put it out there and let's let the fishermen take it out to the parts of the ocean where there's all kinds of big fish. Throw that sucker out there and then let's see what we pull up. Because maybe what we find out is like, "Oh, it's actually amazing for grouper." And I just didn't know because I'm not a grouper person. And, and then it turns out, oh, the thing's amazing for grouper. Like it's good for tuna, but it's really good for grouper. So then after I know this, then I can tighten it up and say, "Oh, what I got here is the world's most amazing grouper fishing net," and run with it there. But at the beginning, I don't want to get it so tight that I'm actually discouraging people to try it out because I know I'm likely wrong. I kind of want to keep it loose. And so this is why when people come to work with me as the positioning consultant, if they're pre-launch or they're just starting launch, I usually say, don't sweat it too much. And it's going to feel bad. Like your pitch is going to feel mushy. And it's going to feel like I've got this mushy positioning and it sucks and I really want to tighten it up. And you just got to roll with that. Like you just got to deal with your awkward teenage self in that moment and just say, acknowledge that this feels bad. Acknowledge this is kind of a shitty sales pitch. It's not very tight, but it's okay. And you got to wait till you start seeing the patterns and who loves your stuff and why. Then you can really get tight on it and tighten it.